What's up guys, Adam here again, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about this Dewalt DWS779 miter saw. And this is not really going to be a review video, although I'll give you a little bit about my experience and my opinion of it in a little bit, but this video is more going to be focused on the differences between this saw and the upgraded model, which is the DWS780, and how you can turn this model into that more expensive model. This model here is about $350 is what I paid for it, and you can still find in a lot of places. And then the upgraded model is about $600. So you're talking about quite a spread in money. And for the most part, this saw is exactly the same as the upgraded model with one difference. Well, actually two differences. One is price, and the second one is there is a light kit that sits above the saw blade on the more expensive model that when you turn that light on, as you bring it down to the piece of wood that you're trying to cut, it's going to cast a shadow on that piece of wood that is going to show you exactly where the saw is going to make contact. And so therefore, making it a little bit faster for you to be able to make your cuts because you can see exactly where your saw blade is going to go. So it's a really nice feature. But there is an option to buy this lesser expensive model, but also buy a light kit for about $80 and install it on this saw to make it into the more expensive model. So you still save a ton of money by installing the light kit on this lesser expensive saw instead of just going ahead and buying the more expensive DWS780. Now, if for whatever reason you can't find this model in your local home improvement store, there are also options online that you can find to buy this saw. And I'll have a link down in the description down below where you can find not only this saw, but also the website of where you can find the light kit to upgrade the saw to the more expensive saw. And as far as what I think about this saw, it's lived up to all of my expectations. I've really been wanting to buy this for a while now. And so far, all the cuts I've made, especially my angle cuts, have been right on the money. The saw just feels like a very quality saw. It's very smooth, it's very rigid. And so I really don't have any complaints about it other than if I had just one complaint, it would just be that it's a really big saw. So it doesn't really fit my current workbench. So all that being said, let's go ahead and get started with turning this $350 saw into the $600 model. Let's go. So this is going to be all of the parts that you're going to need in order to upgrade that saw into the DWS780. Now, I got all of these parts, I believe it was around $80 plus some shipping, and I got it from a place called Tools. The reason I went with them is just because they made it simple. Everything was together, so you didn't have to go out and find all of the parts yourself. If anything changes, whether or not they quit selling it, or whatever it may be, I'll of course change the description for whatever makes it most convenient for you to find. So you're going to get a new handle, and you're really only going to use the top portion of it. It's the only thing that's going to change in order to make room for your new toggle switch, which is what this is. This is what is going to operate turning on and off the light that creates the shadow on the wood. This is the light itself. Pretty self-explanatory, and then this is just a wiring harness to hook everything in together. So let's go ahead and get started with installing it. So the first thing we need to remove are these two screws to remove this housing that's on top of the blade. We're going to do that using a Torx bit T25. And then we'll switch to a Torx T20 bit to take this wire cover off here. You got a screw here and back here. All right, so now that all those have been removed, now we can install the actual light itself, and it's going to mount right up here on top where we took that first cover off. So now we've got our light mounted here. If you see this groove right here, that's where your wiring is going to go. So run your wiring into that groove, and once you've got the wiring into the groove, then take that wire cover that we took off a little bit earlier and put it back on. All right, so now that that light's been installed, now we need to actually get inside of the handle itself. So we're gonna have to remove all of these screws that are in this handle here and this handle here. And you're gonna need Torx bit sizes of T20, T25, and T30. All right, so now that we've got the cover off, see this black wire here? This is the wire that we ran initially. So we're just gonna feed it down. I'm gonna put it underneath of this white wire. And then feed it in to this channel right here. So now this is where our wiring harness comes into play, and we need to get it hooked up to this switch here. So the first thing we need to do is remove the switch from the handle. And there's a screw right here that you just need to remove in order to do that. So now that that's loose, now we just need to remove this screw from the switch on this black wire. So now once you get that wire removed, then you'll take your wiring harness, take the black wire on the wiring harness, take this loop and put it under that screw. Once you've got it under the screw, then just reinstall it to the switch. Now that the trigger's back in place, now we're going to focus on getting this white wire connected here, and the connector on it has a piggyback option, which we're going to have to use. So we're going to take our white wires that are sitting here and pull those apart. Now that those are apart, now we're going to take our wiring harness and we're going to attach this male end of this spade here into the receiving or female side of this adapter. So just slide it on. Once that's fully seated, now we're going to take this piggyback portion here, this male end here, and insert that into the female side of this remaining white wire. So now we can take our power supply or this switch here, and we're going to hook up the wiring. So first thing we're going to hook up is that black wire that we ran in the very beginning, and in the bottom side of the switch here, you'll see this little port here. That's just going to slide right on top and click into place. Now we'll take this remaining input here that's coming from the switch and connect it to our wiring harness. Then just make sure all of your wires are sitting snugly inside of the handle. Once you've got all of your wiring situated and it feels like everything is sitting comfortably, then you can take the new cover for your handle and put it on top. But be careful as you put it down. Make sure that there's nothing impeding it sitting flush with the bottom handle, especially any kind of wiring. Don't want to cause any damage to the wiring once you tighten down the screws. Once you've got the handle in place, then you can reinsert all of the screws that you took out in the beginning. Also, something to note, if you're wanting to upgrade your Dewalt saw, because this is not the only one that can be upgraded with this light kit, just make sure to check what model saw you have. You can locate that on top of the saw and figure out whether or not your saw is compatible with installing one of these light kit upgrades. So now with that switch turned on, you can see it's a pretty bright light, but there's no line there. So we have to bring our blade down closer to the wood. And now as we've brought it down closer, you can see this line here that is being made. It's the shadow from the saw blade, and it's showing you exactly where that saw blade is going to make contact or make the cut. So let's go ahead and make a cut and make sure that it's accurate. All right, so as you can see, the line is completely gone, so it cut exactly where it said it was going to. So let's go ahead and try an angled cut now. So guys, if you're really looking to step up that miter saw game, I really recommend this Dewalt DWS779 model. And of course, if you just can't find this model in your local stores and they have the 780 and you're okay with spending the extra money, then I can't say enough good things about the saw. It just really is a quality saw, and you're gonna get everything up front with that particular model. But if you can get the DWS779 like I've got here, then that's really the way to go, and then just buy the light kit separately. And I'll have a link down in the description below for not only this saw, but also where you can get the light kit. So I hope you liked the video. If you did, please let me know by giving the video a thumbs up. And if you like how-tos and do-it-yourself type videos for around your house, then consider hitting that red subscribe button. And I'll catch you in the next video. See ya.